Hi, and welcome to your reading. This particular series of ones that I'm doing in the evening that I'm doing it will be a series, just so that you're aware. They may or may not link with each other, so I will link each of them in each other's description, just in case. That normally happens with the readings that I do. And please always check resonance, especially with these readings that I'm doing back to back, trying a new frequency out. And I would really discourage you from tuning into all of them or doing any kind of tarot viewing overload, especially during this time when the time that I'm recording this, when the most important thing, the most useful thing you could do right now, just to remind everyone, is to stay in tune with your center and seek that part of yourself versus seeking any of us who practice divination. However, I do still love this work. I'm sure everyone who does this loves it. And there's no harm in seeing what the cards have to say, trying to gain some understanding, more than foresight, especially the readings that I do. They're about just trying to uncover more of that inward outward relationship or experience. Let's see what the cards have to say. Interesting. We have the Six of Rods in reverse as the first card out. Let's unpack more about that. Okay. Interesting. Oh, all right. Oh. I've been shuffling the deck in reverse the whole time, so let me just sit with what's going on here first before I shuffle any further. I will take them as they are because I think that process ended up being very intentional. I'm very fascinated by this. That doesn't usually happen. I just considered the fact that I'm doing this reading during Mercury retrograde in Sag. Yeah, all right. Let's see. So the Six of Rods in reverse speaks of self-sabotage, the inability to let yourself succeed, fear of success and visibility, loss of vision, victory being snatched away at the last moment. However, it will still be possible to salvage important insights. Okay, and then I'm going to look into the Hermit in reverse before continuing on. So this speaks of the promptings of the psyche being ignored for too long, the soul withering in its current situation, withdrawal from life due to unfaced fear, sorrow, or anger, escapism, phobias, superficiality, alienation. This is an interesting frequency. I can feel it, but I'm sensitive to reading to it or reading on it, unpacking it further, because it is something that I think you'd have to be ready to receive. You'd have to be ready to progress from. I don't believe in forcing yourself out of low frequency states. I think that's just my nature, my Plutonian nature. I believe in giving respect to that period of time in which you may be in a phase of self-sabotage or some kind of inability to let yourself succeed, etc. All the energy that's coming from this card is like a kind of self-projection, or like projection onto reality from wounds of the self, which is interesting timing considering the Chiron aspects that are happening in the sky right now. And yeah, I believe if it is that you resonate with that frequency, or you know someone in your life who is resonating on this frequency, where it's like you don't quite understand, either of them or of yourself, why it is that there's this stagnancy. It's just looming, and it's like it's not changing, and it's difficult to metabolize, feels heavy, but in a way that feels unsolvable, and kind of like, wow, this has been happening for a really long time. Yeah, I really believe in giving time to this phase of your life. But you may be somebody who is used to being able to move on from states like this, where you feel like the quickest thing for you to do, or the easiest decision for you to make, would be to isolate or withdraw or internalize. Yes. People pleasing, healing from that. You may be healing from it, but I think that anyone doing that work understands how many layers there are to learning how to choose yourself. But anyway, let's pull out more and see what's going on. Yeah, this is it's giving something 12th house or 8th house woundings, which again, to me, I feel I naturally surrender to, but that's my experience with like psych work. Okay. Interesting. This is a very interesting reading. Okay. So I pulled out the 8 of Cups, and then the 2 of Swords, and then I pulled out an extra card unintentionally. And we have the 3 of Discs in reverse. Wow, this is a very reading. It feels like it's hitting in a very grief way. I'm feeling grief, and I'm feeling into like, let me look at this 3 of Discs in reverse before saying anything. You have resentment, frustration.
I want more chips.
Resentment, frustration, constant dissatisfaction with life. Yeah, this one. What I'm about to say, the interpretation I'm about to say from the 3 of Discs in reverse has a lot to do with this energy, in my opinion. Tendency to concentrate on the, and I never get how to pronounce this word, on the miniature of life, on the minute of life, without ever looking at the bigger picture. Yeah, boredom, bureaucracy, possible legal difficulties. Possible legal difficulties, but I don't think that it's I think that people who if by chance you do face a legal difficulty, justice will lean towards the one who's in the fair position. You know what I mean? Whatever the situation is, I feel as though whoever is right is obvious. It's obvious who's right. So, yeah, there wouldn't have to be any stress about that. That was a very random channeling, very specific. You have the Five of Discs in reverse, which I wanted to also explore. Speaks of possible material hardship and enforced move, adversity due to obstinacy or lack of vision. Interesting. Material issues or an untenable home situation. The lack of vision phrase is appearing again. Word for word, lack of vision. Okay. Let's sit with everything for a second. Heavy frequency to read for and unpack. So thank you if it is that you firstly resonate with being in this phase of your life where you know someone who is and you are still open to hearing more about how to explore, unpack the situation or the feeling. I am, it's an annoying thing to say. This because I'm feeling into the weight of the energy of this. I'm feeling into the weight of the energy of this reading. And I'm very sensitive to this, to the shadow work and to specifically the feelings of like, I'm receiving a sense of like self-deprecation, like the way that you think or talk about yourself, or again, someone else that you know in your life who is on this frequency. The way that is going, whatever's going on internally is very anti-human. I've been contemplating that phrase and how there are some aspects of this life that draw your anti-humanness out of you, where you don't feel like, you feel senses of a not belonging, feeling disempowered, feeling like there is any situation that you could encounter that does not have a solution, giving into the rhetoric of how of feeling unlucky. Yeah, feeling unlucky. Taking your past traumas personally, to say that when you think about them, you consider them as a failing on your part and not the fact that, or notwithstanding, forgetting the spiritual fact that your soul chose this. It's all intentional. It sucks. Some shit really sucks, but it's intentional for you to learn and grow. And it feels like part of the growth in this stage of your life that you may be missing right now has to do with keeping up with the consistent work of choosing to move on from whatever past pains or traumas that may have wounded you so much that they put you in a state of stillness, that they created a sense of inertia. You have the Center of Discs following the Five of Discs in reverse. You may be in a period of your life where there's the follow-up card of this inertia due to some like deep sense of pain that you experience, like something gut-wrenching happened in your life that completely shocked you. It shocked your boots. It shocked you still. Burnt the house down. You stood there shocked, didn't know what the hell to do. And something about you not knowing what to do has to do with you. I mean, honestly, you're so close. I think that this in itself showing up, it just takes a turning around for you to get to this. So, or at least that's how I understand reverse cards, is the fact that like it takes a real flip. Things could change in a day. But it seems like what the change that needs to happen has to do with receiving. It's with the way that you see things. it's just too dark right now in the way that you perceive things, but it's a choice that you need to make and keep going with. Again, I've suggested this in previous readings I've done, and someone whose link I will share, whose work I will link in the description of this video, who I'd highly recommend for anyone based in South Africa, more specifically Johannesburg. She suggested subliminals and affirmations and water, as it is that you may be an extremely sensitive person. You have the Page of Cups that followed all of that, the Nine of Swords and the Seven of Discs, and you may be a Pisces 12th house or like a water sign, and you may be deeply, in which case you are likely deeply affected by all of the sensitive shifts and solar flares that are happening right now. And the time that I'm reading this, November 2025, and or whenever it is that you're watching, as I think that these shifts and things that are happening are going to be quite ongoing. So care for yourself and perceive yourself and your sensitivities as things to nurture and work with, not shun or push away or like pretend or try to bend to fit molds. You know what I mean? Respect the parts of yourself that are sensitive. This is also not to say, because again, I really don't support the thing of just like, okay, I'm done being sad, I have to move on. Capricorn, Virgo, mind processing, Aquarius, I think Aries as well, Sagittarius. I don't really support that. It works for you, it works for them. It's very good with bringing manifestations into order, but I really believe in wringing that shadow work dry and making sure that nothing is left. You know what I mean? So that you can keep starting on a clean slate and not drag along your woundings because you face them for too short of a period or for whatever. But this is also, again, because I am Plutonian, that's how my experience has played out. This may be totally different for you. But for this reading in particular, I'm receiving that because this frequency is so embedded, it feels embedded. And as a result, beware of trying to do things too quickly, you know? So, okay, with subliminals, if you decide to venture into actually trying to do all of these suggestions I'm saying, affirmations and stuff like that, you have to be aware that the grief is going to come up. And when it does, when the grief and the feelings of sadness and stuff, when they do come up, I'm receiving that you need to be able to let it come out, you know? Don't push it back. Yeah, I'm receiving that what can really help you is crying. Cry. Yeah, you need to cry more. And you need to cry more of this sense of dissatisfaction that you may feel over your life, or you need to be some kind of support for someone going through this and encourage them to cry. Untenable home situation is interesting. That jumps out to me. I get the sense that as well, you know, because I do like to explore all levels of the soul and of being, that this untenable home situation may have something to do with your sense of home within, which is what we're all working on collectively. Your sense of, like I've mentioned, belonging and of being deserving is deeply, deeply affecting the way that you are living and enjoying your life right now, or someone in your surroundings. But this does feel very personal and feels like some aspect of yourself that, again, with this card may not be something you're aware of. So just be on the lookout for this work, either happening right now in your life around you or oncoming. This is very important work. It's very beyond you work, and you will have to please take a sense of taking a break when you need to take a break. Consider slowing down as well. I'm getting I'm getting the urgency of needing to pay attention to things like your body, where your mind goes, what you focus on in your day-to-day experiences. Are you positive? Are you able to think positively every day? The choices that you make, do they lean more towards a happier version of yourself or a version of yourself that stays stuck in a frequency of survival? Do you do things on a day-to-day experience in your everyday? Do you engage with your joy? Do you try to ever intentionally do things to make yourself happier? Or could you be potentially stuck in this loop of grief that will then effectively just manifest more grief for you, which is not a problem? Please give respect to grief. I will link a brief kiki that I shared on grief, highlighting how it is an important teacher, and sometimes it's necessary medicine for you that that will not be done with you until it is done with you, that you will not be done with until it is done with you. I explain further in the video. Point is, please give respect to this frequency and emotion. It's not ideal. I hate it so much. But this year, specifically 2025, has really humbled me to understanding that this is shit that you need to do. It's not something you can skip. And if you're really serious about your work, if you're really serious about what can I say? Because I think that going through this stage of your life immediately implies that you are you are an alive, vibrant person. And this kind of thing happens or comes into your life as like an upgrade of your awareness. Like you're refining something about the way that you think and make decisions. Unpacking this part of it. In order to unpack it, you have to face it, cry a little about it, journal, feel sad about it. The shit that happened sucked. It wasn't ideal. You deserved better. All of that, so that this can start to change and you're not so afraid or defensive of the light. The way that I take this image in, just looking at it as it is right now, is a light is coming and this person is defensive about it because they don't know what it is. Very similar to how we're collectively looking at this 3-eye atlas interstellar object. The way that we don't understand what it is, people are immediately assuming and leaning into the fact that it might be some alien object that's coming to hurt us. We have no idea of its effects. And I think that part of that defensiveness, in all honesty, is it's what kept you in this grief, in this sadness or in this depression that you may be in. Of course, this kind of thing is not that simple. It's a lot more nuanced, but I'm just addressing it from this specific lens. I think that these things, especially when it comes to grief and depression, mental illness and sadness, these kind of things, this is such a big and expansive thing. It's such a huge cave with so many demons and shadows that there are many doors to enter through. And I think once you work through one, you'll naturally uncover many others and many other layers of yourself. I feel called to read the Two of Swords. And then I think one more shuffle to see further. This card speaks of using the intellect for growth and transformation, creation of a powerful idea, opposing forces that can be harnessed for good or evil, convergence, conflict, resolution. Okay, I'm receiving that annoying statement again about how your trauma is a key to something. Still don't quite, I do understand it. I think I'm still processing, like I'd mentioned earlier, how much I hate it. So I hate it. I hate the understanding or acceptance of the fact that this is actually useful. But it is. Like I said, especially for you, as someone who I believe sometime in your journey you made a decision to live a vibrant life, no? You want to enjoy life, right? We all do, but I think you in particular made a very specific promise. Many people live it as robots, like I want to enjoy life, but you have actively, I think, determined that you would like to suck the marrow out of life, truly live it, enjoy it, bathe in it, you know? Part of life is this grief shit, the shadow shit, the loss, you know? But with these two together, as well in the reading, the 8+ page of cups, giving 9 cups total in this reading. And like I said again, this card in itself is just a flip away. There is very obvious hope. I also like to take literal orbs of like glowing bodies in readings as positive omens, and you have 3 of them. You have 3 of them. And a lantern, which is obviously naturally symbolic of an internal glow, which I think is very naturally assumed of you. Is, like I said, making the choice to live life, right? And to like stay connected to your inner child and to heal and to do this kind of work that we do. Making a choice to do that makes us naturally beautiful regardless of what we look like. And I'm getting the sense that that is something you are and something you do. And on a personal level, I've been working through my fair share of this grief work and shadow work and self-sabotage, and what's really helped me is connecting with myself and remembering a sense of who I am, trying to find and locate like the gifts of my individuality, and really playing and circling on that idea that there's no one like me and there never will be. That's been very lovely. Mirror work as well is very useful, looking in the mirror and looking at your eyes, appreciating your body and your being as that living vessel. As you take in your energy, you know, it does something. All of it does something. I would also recommend candle meditation. Yeah, candle meditation, lighting a flame and staring into it and breathing as deep as you can, as consistently as you can, for as long as you can. This is very, very heavy energy, my friend. And whether on you, in you, or around you, it's giving that it's part of the story overall. It's really part of a story that needs to be respected with nurture, you know, and patience, and as much compassion as you can offer to everybody, even if you don't resonate with this on a personal level. Offer compassion to yourself regardless. Crazy times right now, very, very incredibly potent, energetic times. There are, I don't think there's, I don't think at this point there's anyone who doesn't understand or feel the sense of how crazy it is, how crazy life is right now. I'd say that I wanted to shuffle, so let me get a single closing card. Let me put everything back because, yeah, I think I've given all that I have to give, and with an energy like this, it is what it is. And oh, this card, by the way, 7 of Discs, also speaks of waiting for the right time to make the move. So just in case you felt annoyed by that inertia, stagnancy, again, it's your process. You will never be too late for anything. You will never miss anything that is for you. Please integrate and embody that. Wow. What a closing card. The 4 of Discs. Yeah. The 4 of Discs, and then the 9 of Swords repeats itself, shows up again. And I was trying to remember whether or not I put the 9 of Swords beneath the deck when I had closed it, but I didn't. This all came after one shuffle. It's very, it's very important that you allow yourself to go through it so that you can release this energy properly. Again, I think this is the lack of it, the feeling of not being deserving, or believing whatever treatment you received at the worst time of your life, or during a very traumatic period in your life. There was a way that you were treated that then stuck with you and created this like demon almost, this sadness demon that follows you around and leaves you believing that you are not deserving, that you are not safe. This lack of relaxation, a distrust towards others, needing to keep everything locked in and to yourself so that nobody gets to it and nobody ruins it or nobody tries to steal it from you, that kind of thing. If you live in Johannesburg, the feeling that you have to operate in when you're walking as a woman, no less, in Johannesburg CBD or in like unknown high crime areas, you know, it's very like hostile. This frequency that you may be in right now, that you're feeling, or you may be struggling to unpack, which is again anti-human. It's very system created to perceive yourself as lacking or in any kind of danger that in any kind of danger that you can't resolve due to a disconnection from your essence. There's a lot of layers to it, but anyway. Interpretation of this: feelings of scarcity that may manifest in reality, protectiveness, changing your attitude towards money to a more open model, seeing it as a flow of energy and not a finite substance, looking for a more sustaining way of life. And it will come. This is I've recently tried to unpack this frequency. It's again very irritating, and I'm still, as you can see, I'm still dealing with my irritation via the fact that it seems to be necessary, this frequency, however it is. And I think that should you resonate with this, then try to understand how try to see the experience. Try to see the experience as a video game, but only for the sake of seeing or taking on a different perception outside of this. Because this, it feels like, again, you're taking your traumas and experiences too personally. Try to turn everything into a lesson. You know, try. Just once you look at it that way, then process, then you can, it's like it brings forth the answer almost, versus you just sitting in this scarcity and being in fear of loss or whatever forever, you know. Rather, try to interact with your universe and turn things into lessons, turn the experiences into lessons. It's yeah, part of the understanding. Work with your brain. Yeah, you're working with your brain. You're rewiring the programming. That's what you have to work with. So the affirmations, get into those. Get into physically writing them down. There's something about the pen to paper action that's important. That your hand writing those words out is important. It's part of the spell. Look into literally taking a jar of water and then writing whatever affirmation or thing you want on the jar, and locking in to your reality that this water is that affirmation, and then drink the water knowing that you are, what is it? You are manifesting that affirmation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like use water magic. Do something to, work with your energy. Work with your energy and influence over your reality. This has to change. You do not have to be living in scarcity and fear in the way that you are. You really don't. It's quite literally, again, very anti you, very not you, does not belong to you. Scarcity, this shit does not belong to you. So, yes, rework the way that you see money, and not just money, your life. Rework the way you see your own energy. Put the price up. That was random. Pick the price up. If you offer services, increase your prices. Consider it. Yeah. I have to give respect to this. I have to give respect to it and stop the reading, and not offer much else except for you to remember to let the tears flow when they come, and everything will work out. Feels like it really is just a frequency thing, just a mind thing. I mean, it's highly likely, obviously, being experienced as an external thing. So that's not to invalidate your external experiences, but please understand that, it's time to understand the relationship of your outer thing with your inner thing, and how parts of the way that you think about yourself is really the only reason why you're experiencing the things that you do. If you can just elevate the way you think about yourself, cry when you need to cry, make sure that you start analyzing your choices from a higher position of love and not victimhood, of an openness of exploration, of a hopefulness, of a curiosity, and a knowing that you're protected and loved and etc. through every situation, an understanding and acceptance that miracles happen, a real serious following of your faith now. You believe in things, you've practiced it, right? You've actually manifested. I know I'm reading for somebody who's actually played with water magic, and you understand how the shit that it works. You know it works. So it's time to actually put it into action. Make it part of your psyche. Embody it. Actually embody it. Do the thing, Make the spiritual stuff happen. Take it seriously. See how you will be able to release so much of this that you've been holding on to for no reason, other than the fact that it's felt safe for you. You're used to it. It feels also like a generational thing. The way that you move in lack and fear is something you learned from previous generations, from somebody in your bloodline who you really respect. He told you that this is the best way to go through life because it keeps you safe. Wrong. Godspeed. You're definitely going to make it out. This is definitely not your frequency, this lack, or whoever it is. Maybe you're reading or working through this with someone maybe in this and maybe projecting or isolating, or even this card also speaks of addictions, addictive habits. You or someone in your community may be giving into their addictive habits right now due to grief or feelings of lack, victimhood, etc. Please, compassion, forgiveness, patience. There is nothing else that is to be done with this kind of thing. It's very, very sensitive, and it's very natural for this time of year and for what's going on energetically. Please know as well and have hope in the fact that all of these heavy energies are so totally alchemizable. There's so much support, there's so much support. It's there. You just have to have hope that it's there, trust that it's there, and be willing to do the work to see it. And you're capable. Never ever think that you are not. Thank you so much for watching the reading. I really hope that it was helpful for you. And I will see you in the next one.